Okay guys, here I am alive again. Yeah, you can see my messy table, but I've also got this set up to where you guys can see exactly what I see. And what you're seeing right now is where my torch is going to be lit right here, so you guys can see the fire go on without burning your eyes out. And 2 people watching, that's good. I have, when about half a dozen more people will show up, I've got some, I would say, unboxings, but actually it's from where I'm taking it out of the kiln and showing it to you for the first time. Hopefully I won't say there's too many oopses. Okay, there's 4 people now. That's great. Hi Beth, nice to see you out there. And where I have the cell phone set up, believe it or not, it's right here where I can just tilt my head up and look and see if somebody says something. And you might have to put up with a few shakings because the floor of my shed is not as durable as it should be, but it is. I'm not going to fall through anytime soon. Anyway, okay, we got 9 people watching. I'm going to go ahead and do some unboxing of some of the stuff that I've been doing lately. Well, unboxing, actually, it's just 12 people, 16, all right. Hey, Bobby, these are some of the quartz figurine marbles that I've been doing lately, and I even signed this one. There's my initials, LVBL 2020. Sorry about all the greasy mess, but my fenders have that oily substance on them. This is another one that I've done. Conch shells. And again, my initials, LVBL 2020. See what another one I got here. Oh yeah, little dolphin. Got, hi Bobby. Nice to see people out there. And let me go ahead and now I'm going to go over here to the oven and pull out a whole bunch. And I repeat, a whole bunch of stuff. Because I really stuffed that oven last night. Oh, this one's sweet. Straight out a hot oven. I did a scuba diver with a dolphin in it. It's not the clarity isn't as good as it could be, but I'm still experimenting and learning how to put the quartz inside the boro marbles. And this one, I don't think you can see what it is, but there's a smiley face that I've impressed in a piece of graphite. And I put it on the other side as well. Right, let me see if I can. There he is, smiling right at you. It's like a afro type haircut there. And I also had this one in there. This is a dolphin pendant, dichro. Nice and pretty as you please. Get over here and grab another pile of stuff. I can only do it one handful at a time. I guess I can get more than that, but here we go. This way it'll last a little longer. Okay. Drop these down here and I'll pick them up as I go. Did an octopus. Silver fumed, of course. You can see some colors going on in that. This one's a little hummingbird inside. If anybody's interested in these things, they are for sale. And I do have, I am PayPal ready. This is another one of those impressions of the smiley face. Hi, Chris. Glad to see that you're up and about. And here is a lady swimming with a dolphin. And here is a guy swimming with a dolphin. That one turned out pretty cool. Each figurine has to be done individually, and then I layer it inside, and sometimes I can get them to where I can position the figurines where I want them, and other times I have to put up with where it's at. Little quartz seahorse. Again, if any of these get you excited and you want to get one of these days, here's another conch shell. I've been having fun doing these. I make these also to the size for pendants that I don't know how many. I gave one to my mother and she keeps giving them away. So I have to keep making more for her to wear. Ain't that a kick in the pants? But you do things for your mother. That's the way life is. Here's another dolphin. Oops. That's the problem with these things. I don't know if you can see it right there, that sort of like a crack between the fin and stuff. But sometimes that happens. And all I do is I put it back in the oven and bring it up to temp and melt it down some more. So it's not a total waste. And let me grab some more stuff out of the oven. Ooh, okay. Ooh, yeah, I forgot about this one. Hold it. Let me grab in the back of the oven here. There's about 2 of them that I had to reach for. I died. One of them cracked right in half due to the stress. And I got a whole bunch of little tiny figurine pendant pieces that I'll get out as well. Hold on, I'm getting there, guys. If you have any questions, talk to me and I will answer them. It just won't not cooperating on me getting them out of there. Not cooperate. Okay, this one I want to put back in. And this one I want to put back in. I'll grab them once they get back up to temp again. Hey, Jessica. Now, here is one of my dragons fumed with gold. And yes, I'm going to turn on the torch in a very short time. Don't think and this is the problem I have sometimes due to the stress of the 2 of them coming together, that they're not compatible glass. It literally explodes in half. Yes, it broke in. I can't fix it sometimes, but sometimes I can fix it. And here's another dolphin, and it's got a nice red backing on there. Hey, Diego, nice to see you out there. And here's some of the conch shell pendants that I make as well. Simple but effective. Now I'm going to get into doing a marble here. Why not? Do some macro marbles at first. There we go. Turn on that oven. Do some macro marbles at first, using, of all things, some UV reactive glass. Does that sound like fun? I don't know. What do you think? There you go. You got some green in that one. Kind of hard to see with the bright lights out here. Let's see some other colors that I've got sort of rambling around. There's some more green. There's a red. No, that's a violet stripe. You can't really see it on your screen. And let me see. Ooh, this one's gonna be cool for a couple of marbles. This one, it's like chaos going on. Let me get 1 or 2 more of those different colors going, and then we'll put them inside of marbles and see how. Oh, here's another nice one. I think this is atomic kumquat, but you can sort of see a little bit of the pink color coming out of there. That's pretty cool. So we're gonna make a couple of marbles and go from there. And if you have a request of And once the oven gets a little hotter, I'll even try to put a quartz encasement going on. So bear with me, folks. Right. Now, the lens that I have in front on the heat shield is so that you guys can see what's going on inside the flame fairly nicely without too much trouble, which is the cool thing. Oops. I am trying to adjust my seat down and I can't reach the, there it is. Oh yeah, just a little bit further down. And I'm good, and you guys are good because you can see exactly what's going on. Are you going to Glass Vegas? The answer is ding, 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 ding. Yes. I won't be showing, but I'll be there. For the whole 3 days. My mother is a little bit of a gambler. I wouldn't say where, you know, don't worry, she hasn't, but she has a chance, and she has airline miles, and I have airline miles, so we booked a flight, and we'll be there. Now, one thing about these macro marbles is you can literally get away with just a little clip of the glass and just make it round. Although I do have a nice marble mold. Oh, I forgot to show you this one. This is one of the ones that I'm excited about. You can't really tell what it is until you look at it just right. I hope you're not too hopping mad about that one. Ha 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 ha. That'll be nice, Chris. I'll look forward to seeing you there as well. Like I said, I'm going to be there for the whole 3 days. So it's just a matter of rubbing elbows and taking down names and grabbing all this free stuff you can. That's the thing about Glass Vegas, is if you're an artist and you can prove it, you can get into the show for free. And you can go in and chat yourself away around all of the booths and talk to all of the glass blowers. Just be looking for me. I'll be rolling around with a rollable carry-on bag behind me so I can throw stuff all my ill-gotten booty in a little container. Hey, Douglas. Oh yeah. Just a matter of making it all nice and round now. I do have, like I said, a marble mold. That's pretty cool. It's got the size that I want right here. Yeah, that cane is something I make. I just play around with different swirls of colors and stuff like that. And it's not a lot of cane. Probably that one and two others about that same size and length. They're all I got out of it. But it was fun. And again, it's where I make the miniature or macro UV reactive marbles is what I do there. Nice cold weld or seal here and pull off on this end. Now make this side round. Don't really have to use the marble mold too much at this size. You just got to keep spinning. Not too bad, Douglas. I've been doing really good lately, and getting out and doing this live videos is another thing I've done. I did one last week here on Black Market, and I'm doing another one this week. Just trying it out and kicking names and taking names and kicking butt, right? Right. Now all you got to do is just keep switching it back and forth a little bit. And sometimes, to make sure I've got more of a round going on, and I'll do it with this one as well. Cold seal about right there. Now fire polish this and round it the other way. Hey Kevin, glad to see you made it. I know I didn't give you a little bit of heads up, but I told you I'd be here. A little bit of spinning, and I'm gently putting it in there. And actually I have one that's smaller that'll probably work out a little better. Here we go. Another touch. Tap that off. And I think this one, oh, it's got a little bit of rippling going on. Let's try to make it as round as possible. Sometimes when you put it in the mold and spin it, it ripples a little bit, and I didn't get all of the ripples out. Can't wait. Love your tutorials. Well, actually, they're not tutorials. I'm just sitting here talking to myself, and you just happen to be listening. You know what I mean, there, Douglas. What degree of heat are you working with? A couple of thousand at least. And I'm not using the full potential of this torch. At the moment, I'm using a 10 liter per minute oxygen concentrator, and that's what I should do. I'll do tweezers instead of holding it in the mold. Oh, there we are. This is not working, and it fell in the floor. Wouldn't you know it? Oh, found it. Yay. I'm going to go ahead and put it back on here for a little bit. Try to burn some of that stuff off. Yeah, that's all it is. I'm sitting here talking to myself, and you guys are just happen to be at the right place at the right time, and listening to me babble on. I'm gonna tap it. Do it one more time this time, and try to fire polish it very gently. You should upload this to YouTube. I will. That's one of the things I do from time to time. I didn't do the one that I did with Adam, but I will do this one. The main reason why I didn't is because it had music playing in the background, and I didn't own the music, and they would have said I couldn't make money off of it because the sound, the voice is copyrighted stuff. So I said, okay, I won't do that then. That needs to cool for a little while, and it's okay to, at this size, to bench cool them, but I will throw them in the oven. Let me go ahead and make one of the blue and Illuminati marble. But yeah, the other day my 10 liter per minute concentrator that I use 90% of the time started beeping funny. Started beeping funny, no problem there, Kevin. When you get it, I'll send them out. When I get it, I'll send it out. I got the stuff ready for you. Oh, what was I saying? Darn. Never mind. If you can remind me what I was saying, I'll bring it back to the conversation. Dad, I meant to say my wife and I will send you payments over Thursday. That'll be fine. That will be no problem. Like I said, I'm a very patient person. Stuff is still sitting here, so it's not like it's going anywhere anytime fast anyway. I figured that's what you're saying. I know that spell check thing is wonky sometimes. I bet you more arguments have been started over that spell check on the voice chat text deal, which I like, because there are sometimes my dyslexia kicks in and sometimes I don't read it before I send it, but 9 times out of 10 I try to read it. But sometimes I don't. And all I'm doing is just transferring these back and forth until I get the nice roundness that I want. Also, another thing that you can do, it's a little off screen, but I have a L-marver back here, and what I'm doing is I'm heating this up and sort of making the point a little bit sharper so that the punte spot is even smaller. And that should be that. Let it cool just a little bit. Yeah, dyslexia is I have several of those where it's like OCD, but it's not in cleaning. You can tell that. But I have my OCD in some respects where you got to get it just right when you're doing something. And also, I had that hyperactive disorder where, you know, as a kid, a ping pong ball bouncing back and forth on a ping pong ball table would have less speed and distance as I would, jumping around doing things. Okay, I did that one, and the other one's not quite cool enough. And let me grab just... Oh, I've got several of these canes that's sitting here. May as well use them. May as well use them. Let's see what this one has in it. If any. Yeah, there's a green swirl going on in that one. That's pretty cool. ADHD. There you go. Attention deficit disorder. Hyper disorder, whatever. I don't know. Who cares? We had it. They didn't have the names for it when I was a kid. I mean, I was born in 1960. I'm an old man. Oh, I coughed up a lung. Oh, sorry. Now, I got a few years left in me. Hi, Tom. Glad to see you out there. I'll try to answer every question that people ask me and stuff, but sometimes with people adding a few things real quick to the mix, it won't happen because the words jumped up faster than I could read them. But I do constantly tilt my head up and read what people are saying, as you can see. There is a little bit of a delay due to it going from me to Facebook Central, and then broadcast it out, and then to you guys, and then you typing it back to Broadcast Central at Facebook, and me reading it. So by the time I say go, at least a minute or two has gone by. And then another minute or two if you add another saying to it. Yeah, sometimes all you got to do is just tilt it one way and it rounds into more of a ball. And you tilt it the other way and it does more like a teardrop shape. But these are working quite nicely. Ooh, I know what we're going to do next. Now, if you have a request of a figurine or something you'd like to see done, I can do that as well. But this being Black Market Marbles, I am doing marbles. What is your favorite animal to make out of glass? Dragons, of course. And I'm really in my element lately doing tiny dragons out of quartz to go inside the marbles and stuff, but I've actually, even without doing the tiny dragons, I mean, even doing just quartz dragons, it's some fun stuff. I love working with quartz because, heck, when I first started, I literally taking rocks and taking the raw material and making it into sort of like stringers or sticks that I use, and then those sticks is what I make the figurines out of. I've got several dragon quartz pieces here that I'll show you in just a second. There we go. Let that cool a little bit. Cap and fire polish, and that one is done. And some of the ones that I did just a little earlier are probably cool enough that I can pick up and show you the UV results. And you can't really see the UV results like right now. As I take it out of the flame, it has to cool down before it becomes visible light. These are still a little warm. Let's try this one to see if it's still got a little bit too. Oh yeah, this is the atomic kumquat. That one's sweet. And where's the other? This blue one might still be a little warm. Oh yeah, you can see it though. This size here is about $3 to $4, depending upon the detail and stuff I put in it. Actually, with the UV, they're closer to the $4 range. Not too heavily expensive. So, and I do packages where I put some hobnails in them and some other stuff, and most of it is UV reactive. Speaking of quartz piece, this is all quartz. I made it's sort of like a little vial. Actually a little bottle type thing, vase, whatever you want to do. And then I added the dragon around it. I was really in my element then. Like I say, I love the craziest thing about the quartz. And with this off, and you see this on. Oops, let's do it this way. This is what it needs to have on here. Otherwise, I'll burn the lens. Oh, come on, stay up there. There we go. Now that's needed to do the quartz work. Oh, darn, I forgot to put the other one on there so I can do it. I can see. Oh, that's what I'll do. I'll see if I can do it that way. Grab one and put it underneath that one. Of course, it's going to play with me a little. Come on. Work with me here, feet. Wire, work with me. Why are you being such a stubborn piece of glass? Oh yeah, that should do you and also do me. I think we'll see real quick. Oops. Let's tilt that. There we go. That'll probably be real good. Do you have any pieces that you just can't part with? Yes and no. There are what I call my favorite marbles that I did over 20 years ago when I first started doing marbles. That are what I call my favorite pieces. And you'll see what I'm talking about here. I'm going to do a really quick horse here. And this, as you can see, oh, sorry about that. I didn't realize that was happening. The right across where the wire was, where you guys should be looking. We'll get it there. And I got to get me one here also, so that I can, just below that one, so that I can see, and you can see. So like you're seeing a little above what I'm doing, and I'm seeing what I'm looking a little bit below it. Here we go. Quartz is a species of a different color. Let me give you a quick demo here. Here's a piece of boro. And look at the size difference here. They're close. This one's probably about, the white one is probably about 3 millimeter, and the clear one is probably 5 millimeter. Okay? 1, 2, 3, and then I can pinch that. That's boro. Now the quartz. And it's going to get really bright. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's not even starting to move. 5, there it starts to move. 6, 7, 8, 9, and barely starting to pinch it out. But yeah, a couple of marbles mainly are the things that I can't part myself with, but everything else, I even say I guarantee my work. Main reason, if something happens to it, you get it back to me and I'll fix it free of charge. You just have to pay for postage getting it to me. And there's 2 reasons for that. A, I find out where my weak points are. And B, I get visitation rights. These are my babies. Can't help it, but it works. That's why I do smaller things in quartz, because it takes so much time and effort to melt it compared to the boro. There's the head to this unicorn, or a horse. Got 7 people watching, that's a good thing. Midstream I can do this because I'm the artist, and the horses and the dragons are very close at this point. That's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to do a dragon instead of a horse, because I love my dragons. This one's not going to be, this one's going to be a little bit larger than what I'd put in a marble, so you guys can see it. Now the back end of this guy. Switch hands. Ain't that bright? Ain't that bright? I'm going blind. No, we're using number 5 welding shade so you guys can see what's going on inside the flame, and I'm using one as well. So it's not a, I know a lot of people say that I probably should be using a higher shade than that, but I haven't had any problems. What's the purpose of popping pieces into the kiln? You saw what happened to that one marble where it was cracked and exploded? And there's stress factors going on inside some glass pieces that you put into the kiln, and it brings it up and heats it up evenly and cools it down evenly. But as you work a piece, sometimes it is a situation where that piece is heated up in one spot and cooled in another spot and heated up in another spot. So what it does is take out the stress factor, so it doesn't just go chink all of a sudden. And even with that, it still can do it, depending upon the compatibility of the glass that you're using on the piece. If that makes any dumb sense. 2 legs. Right now it sort of looks like a velociraptor or T-Rex. No, T-Rex, excuse me. Hello, can't even get it right. Okay, now I'm going to start putting some toes on this guy. So it can be like totally total, okay? Now usually I'll put 2 toes on anything that I do. The craziest thing is that the quartz stuff, at the size that I'm doing it, I won't really have to worry about it stressing out and cracking and breaking. It would crack and break, it would stress out faster from a scratch and a snap than it would from what I'm doing to this. Besides, I'm not doing a big major technical science apparatus, so not as necessary to make sure it's not stressed out. But at this size range, the stress is so infinitesimal it's pathetic. Don't jinx yourself now. I hear you, Kevin. I hear you. Okay, now, whoops. Do some wings on this guy. Is that the perfect spot? Just putting him on there, that's a fun part. Without making him slump in the middle. But again, with quartz, it doesn't slump as easily. Here's one wing, now let's get the other one on. It's folding it and pulling. Once quartz gets hot, it is pretty pliable. But it's getting it to that pliable point without burning your eyes out. Now the front part of this guy, and I think I'm going to like, if anybody wants to have a request, I can do it, or I can make another marble or two. I did one at Adam's house last week that was really, really cool, and I want to probably try to reproduce it here at his house, in his studio. It's not my home front, so you're not in your full game. And even here right now, with you guys watching, you're sort of where my head would usually be, and mine is a little bit down below where I usually work my piece. But because I'm flexible most of the time, I can get something out of it. Now a nose, the beard on the nose here. There we go. One dragon. Oh, 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 you'll love this. Let me see if I got some handy. And of course, never around when you want it. Let me see if I can... Maybe there's enough on here. We'll get it. We'll try it. Taking it down a little bit. Don't need all the hot. And now let's see if I can get this to react. I'm fuming it with some silver, and that will turn it sort of like a goldish tint or a yellowish color. Stuck it to the quartz. You know it. No, need a little bit more silver coming out of this. Here we go. I'll start with another piece. And I just happen to have, where of course when you want it, it's never around. This will work. Pretty sure this should work. Get this to touch too. Didn't get it this time. Next time. There we go. I'll kick it back a notch or two. Hey, Jacob. Here we go. We're going to shim some silver onto this piece. There it goes. Give it a nice gold tint. I haven't figured that out, why silver makes it gold shine. See, look at there. Now you can see the detail in it a lot more. And you got one silver fumed quartz dragon. Anybody interested? I'll do a $16 deal. Plus postage, that works out, rounds it right up to $20. If you're interested. If you're not interested, that's fine too. Now, let's do another marble. And actually, let's see what we got here with the ones that I've done already. Got about 2 or 3 of them sitting here. Oh yeah. I thought I did more than that, but it probably rolled off the table somewhere. Who knows? But here's the 3 of the marbles that I did. And here's under black light. You can see it shines and looks party. Okay. With that, let me see if I can grab and show you a couple of the other dragons that I've done recently. Here's one. Another quartz dragon. And that's not the small of them. Well, here's a couple more things right before I put them in the oven. I mean, before I put them in a marble and stuff. If I can grab onto him. They're tiny. They're really, really tiny. There's a hummingbird. And here is a octopus. And let me see if I got it. Here is a nickel to give you a little idea for size. Okay? Tells you how big these babies are. And putting them inside the marble then magnifies the size that they actually are. Like, for example, this seahorse, I'd have to say it's about a third a size less than what that one is, because it just, hi Ethan, by the way, because once it's inside the glass, it magnifies the figurine inside. So like a, well, it is a magnifying glass basically. And the smaller you make it on the ends, the tinier you make it to begin with, and then put it on the inside, it looks bigger. Okay, let's make another quartz, no, not quartz marble. We're gonna do a, if I can grab some real quick. Oh, this is another nice one, I think. Oh yeah, just a nice corkscrew with lunar blue in there, and also some Illuminati. Thanks, Kevin. I enjoy, like I say, my talent is enjoying what I do, which is the glass itself. Okay, now we're going to go and see if we can switch back to, of all things, back to the didymium lenses again. So I don't burn my eyes out. Oop, There we go. Put it side to side instead of up and down like I did that before. There we go. I had to remember which one was the UV reactive stuff. Let me zoom in just a little bit more. Yeah, you can see my mess on my table a whole lot better too. Hey, Greg. So all I'm doing is basically tilting it downwards, and it makes it more round. And at this stage of the game, you can see all the swirl patterns going on with the UV reactive, even though at this point they are not UV reactive, which is pretty cool. Lets you know that your work isn't wasted. That's what I'm going to do with this one even. No, not this one. The next one. I'm going to do a little tiny hobnail marble. Tilt and spin. It's basically all in the gravity and making sure that it spins correctly. Pretty cool. Well, not at this point. That is the one thing that people say to a glassblower all the time. That's so ironic. Cool! And it's not cool. It's kind of hot. Well, tapped off quite nicely. That's another thing people have to learn is those cold welds. And if you do it right, the whole world is your oyster. But sometimes, even like you saw at the beginning of mine, I tapped it off and it dropped into the floor. So, let it cool slightly. I'm going to do another one of those blue ones. Because if you do this when it's too hot, you tap it off and try to fire polish it, you sort of squeeze it, even though you're not trying to squeeze it, and you'll indent the marble and make it more warped than it needs to be, which works. Okay, we're going to do this, and let me see if that would work out real well. I'm going to make a hobnail marble with these babies on it. Let me see if I can, with this color on it. So like a yellow here in the UV reactive range. So that's what that's going to be. And I'll dot the hobnail with those. Got 7 people watching, that's a good thing. Let's round this down into a nice little marble. There we go. Sort of rounding into itself. That's a good thing. Now the cold weld on this side. I usually do it twice, or cold seal. Mainly so that I can take it off from this end, of course, and get that side round, and then go back and do this side that I just was holding on to it because it's still kind of melting. There we go. I use the UV reactive stuff very sparingly, and on these little tiny marbles, it may look like I'm using a lot, but with each marble, it is sparing. Here we go, hobnail marble coming up. Let's kick this down a notch. With the hobnail on it, doesn't have to be as round either. Helps, but it's not totally in the mix anymore. Making the maps. Where do you go to get most of your glass and recycling center? The glass I use most of the time is from like Mountain Glass Art, MGA. They're in Asheville, North Carolina area, and other places. I also get some straight from boy, my mind is going blank. North Star Company themselves. And I also do, I used to do a whole bunch of different ones, like Whale Apparatus, that's out of Pennsylvania. I used to do Franz Beads, I think that's in Oregon somewhere. And there's all over the place nowadays. You just gotta say Glass Supply. And now as far as recycling, most of the stuff I use I do get it at the recycling center, but or stuff I have that I've bought a bottle of like sparkling grape juice or whatever, and I'll use that. I did a couple of videos on YouTube over that as well. Just type my name, Lou, L-U, Libby, and sparkling grape juice, and you'll see the video I did on that. I think there's about 2 or 3 of them actually. There we go. 1 hobnail marble. With all the bumpy bits you could have on there, that's the way it is. All the little bumpy bits, that's right. Can't have a hobnail without the bumpy bits all over it. I like saying that word, bumpy bits, as you can tell. Yeah, I'm good at accents as well. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it, right? Right. So, without further ado, I think that I'm going to call this video quit for the time being. I might be back on in about another hour or so. Thank you for being out there. And if you have a request, put it down here in the comments. And if you want to buy something, we can work that out as well. It's just a matter, I'm PayPal ready and I can have it shipped out to you probably either tomorrow or the next day. So until next time, Carpe Vitro, which means seize the glass, and enjoy your day. You're welcome, Chris.